Greetings and welcome to From the Basement. In this episode we're going to take a look at level design and teaching your player how to play the game without using text-heavy paragraph blobs or massively intensive cutscenes or anything like that, because obviously we don't have the resources for cutscenes. Okay, so I did some things off camera. Like I said, I've got my switches working correctly. You will also notice I've got rocks on the screen now. Where did those come from? Well, I decided to do those off camera too, to try to cut down on the video length here a little bit. For the most part, you can follow what's in the book to get the rocks created. They're fairly simple. The koalas can push the rocks around. So if I push into the rock, it moves. Now, rocks also have the interesting property that they can crush switches. So that switch is no more, or that detonator is no more. You can crush switches as well. And as you can see, my switches do work now. Now they're crushed. And they can also block exits, which is not necessarily a stated design attribute, but rather just sort of a, oops, you done goofed type of thing. Rocks can also in the next level here, can block saws, although I can't crush the saw, and can destroy itself in TNT. So let's take a quick look at rocks. Now, like I said, you can almost follow the book exactly. The book does have one error, small error in it, in that it forgets to tell you how to compensate for making sure the koala can't move on the rock. We can't add in a collision for the koalas and tell the koalas don't run into rocks, because we need the koalas to run into the rocks to trigger the movement. So on the rock, we have a collision with a koala. By the way, the rock needs to be solid. And when you collide with a koala, we need to check for a whole bunch of things. We need to check to see if there is a wall. Remember, other, by the way, quick note on this syntax here. Other, when you are in a collision, it's about the only time other works, refers to the other game object. That's a dot right there. I don't know how well you can see that, but there's a dot. I have other dot, or period, h speed. That dot operator, as it's called, allows you to access the variables of other objects. So since everything has an h speed, saying other dot h speed is getting the h speed, or the horizontal speed, of the koala. This is important. If the koala is moving right, my h speed is going to be 5. 5 times 8 is 40, positive 40, which is the next tile over that I need to look at. Also, if I'm moving right, my vertical speed is going to be 0. 0 times 8 gives me 0, so I would be checking for 40, 0 relative, which would be the correct location if my koala is moving right. That is where I would expect the rock to be pushed to. I need to check for a wall. I need to check for other rocks. I need to check to see if there's any horizontal saws in my way. And I need to check to see if there's any vertical saws in my way. Once all of that passed, now here's where I'm varying from the book. You need to jump to position. Now I put in some blocks here just sort of to mark it, make it a little bit more clear. I guess I should also, for completeness sakes, put my blocks here. So if this is true, and if this is true, and if this is true, then we're processing this. So if there is an object, if this is true, jump. Else, if this line and this line only, actually if any of these lines turn out to be false, we will jump down to this else statement and we will stop moving. And I tell it other stop moving, oops, speed 0. That stops the koala from walking over the rocks. If you don't put this in, your koalas will walk over the rocks. Collision with TNT is pretty simple. I first destroy other, which would be the TNT. Then I destroy self. Now, I got lazy for the switches and the detonators. In the book, it has you putting in a collision check for a detonator. a blue switch, a red switch, and a yellow switch. Well, I just like, you know what? I don't feel like putting in collisions for all of those switches. So I created a game object called _switch. It has no properties whatsoever to it. It's basically just sort of a placeholder object that I then went through and said everybody's parent, all the switches, and the detonator. Where'd you go, detonator? There you are, detonator. Said everything to parent to switch, 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 switch. So these are all now switches. Again, grouping these based on not necessarily their logical groupings, but rather their behavioral groupings. These all behave like switches, especially as far as that rock is concerned. And so I just have a single collision with an _switch, which will destroy other. And that takes care of my rocks. I've got rocks to play with. So how do you use level design to teach your players how to play your game? And now, Extra Credits actually has a pretty good episode on this. If you go to the Extra Credits website and look through their episodes list, they've got a pretty good episode on using level design itself as your tutorial. They've recently started a new series actually called, I think it's like Design Quarter or something like that, where they break down how the first level in Super Mario Brothers really teaches you how to play the game. I highly recommend go watching that. I'll have some links up on in the description. But let's take a look here. So I'm going to create a room, and I'm not going to set up the default base room. I'm going to tackle a little bit more complicated of an issue, because the simple things are going to be your assignment. So what if I wanted, oops, there we go, it's like different keyboard shortcuts for each menu. What if I wanted to have a level set up where the player had to use, I want to teach the player that the saw can block rocks. I'm sorry, said that the wrong way. The rocks can block saw blades, and I want to teach them that because I want to use that as part of a solution in a future puzzle. Now, I could just simply put a message box up saying, rocks can block saws, but I would prefer not to do that. So let's get this set up here. I'm actually going to take a little bit of care here with the tiles. Let's see here. I'm going to drop that in. Grab this. I have an end cap there. Space, end cap. There we go. Apparently there was a tile there. Okay. So I got that. And actually, no, I got that wrong. So what I'm trying to set up here is a nice little test level here where it becomes obvious how you are supposed to use the rock to trap thought, you know what, to speed this up a little bit, I am going to not care about how I'm placing my tiles here. Okay, so that's my tile setup. Now I'm going to go to Objects. I'm going to grab a koala, put him right here. I am going to grab a blue lock, put it there. A blue switch, put it down there. Grab a horizontal saw, put it right here. And a red exit, put it right there. And ideally, probably I would have, you know, tiles like that. And let's go ahead and put down our walls so that way we don't have any ghosting through walls going on here. Oops. Ah. There we go. So now the idea is, and I know I'll put my rock in a moment, the idea here is that I have to hit that switch. So if I come in here, run down, try and hit the switch, there is no way I can actually make that. I'm going to wait, and as soon as that saw blade goes by, I'm going to try and make it. Oops, a little bit too soon. Wait for it to fully clear, and go! Yeah, there's no way I can make it. Absolutely impossible to make that run. Except now I'm going to put in a rock right there. So the players might not have, maybe this is the first level we've encountered rocks. Now, by this point, they will have already, if we're doing this correctly, we've already exposed them to saw blades, we've already exposed them to switches. So they know how the saw blade works, they know how the switch works, but they've never encountered a rock before. So not only are we going to teach them how rocks work, we're going to teach them how saws work. So I can, you know, the player's going to try and push this because there's nothing else for them to do. They know they can't interact with the tiles. They know they can't get past this lock. They know they can't, you know, they might try a couple of times to hit that switch before the saw blade gets them. They can't do that. So really the only thing left for them to do is fool around with this rock. And they might end up accidentally doing this, which at this point, that's a level over condition. You know, we probably should put in a reset ability so that way the player doesn't have to forcibly kill themselves. So we're going to put the rock and boom, we've got it. Yes, we can trap the evil saw blade. Hit the switch, come back over to the exit. I'm not going to go through because that's going to crash it. I don't have a room past this. But that would be an example of how you can teach the player how to use a rock without a single word of explanation. Now, assuming they know what a switch is, assuming they know what a saw is, they have no choice. Well, that's why reset's not working. I forgot to put in my controller object. It's like, wait, I could have sworn I had reset working. So let's drop in my controller. Yeah, so again, you know, player already knows how locks work. They might initially try and solve the problem like this, but there's no way for them to make it. They might try a couple of times. So eventually, at some point, they're going to be like, all right, well, what the heck is this rock thing? Oh, if I touch it, it moves. Now, it's entirely possible they might back it into the corner, where our reset ability comes in handy. Also entirely possible they might do this, or, you know, trap the saw blade on the side of the switch, which would also be equally bad. But eventually the player's going to figure out, okay, well, if I just have a little bit of patience, I can trap that saw and get out of here. That's how you teach a player. Now, introduce them to an element at a time. Introduce them to finding the exits. Introduce them to evading TNT. Introduce them to the detonators and removing the TNT in such a way that they can't complete the puzzle unless they hit the detonator. Introduce them to saw blades. Introduce them to switches and in such a way that you cannot possibly complete the level without hitting switches. Now, then introduce them to rocks, and it just keeps slowly building. Lots of good reasons for doing this. I mean, one, you're not overloading the player with information. The more information dump that the player has to try to absorb to play your game, the harder it is to get into. If you haven't already heard of it, look up a game called Dwarf Fortress. I'm not actually suggesting you play it. It takes a certain kind of mental mindset, one specifically that really enjoys agony, to really get into Dwarf Fortress. I'm not joking. You need an Excel spreadsheet-like application to be able to play this game. It is painful. The user interface is counterintuitive. It's horrible. There is so much information that you have to understand about this game. It is nearly impossible to play it unless you watch several hours worth of Let's Play YouTube videos. I'm not joking. It's that bad. Or fighter games. You know, I want to walk up and start playing, like, you know, the up-and-coming Street Fighter release or Mortal Kombat release. It's like, you know, to be effective in any sort of competitive sense, it's, you know, I think the Video Game Cats comic summarized it best. It's like a test for video games. It's like, okay, I need to do up, down, left, right, B, A, quarter turn forward, quarter turns backwards, plus B and A at the same time, and then do a high kick. Oh, no, okay. Oh, I'm dead, okay. Okay, they're maybe not quite that bad, but still you get the point. Massive information dump. They're hard games to get into. Whereas Minecraft, let's look how successful Minecraft is. You start off with almost no actions. You can move. And if you're feeling really creative, you can punch flowers. And eventually you'll punch a tree and get some wood. And it's like, oh, okay. Well, now you can craft things. And eventually you can, you know, get a crafting table. Then you can get a pickaxe. Oh, well, now I can mine up stone. And then the stone opens up some more additions. Oh, wait a minute. Now I can build a furnace and I can, you know, smelt wood into charcoal for torches. Now I can go explore the caves and find metals. Oh, I can smelt the metals, the ores I found, into metal bars. And now I can craft more stuff. You can sort of see how that builds. How the game kind of sort of teaches you how to play by itself a little bit. The crafting recipes, it could do a better job at that. And that's kind of what you want to go for in level design. I guess is the really long-winded explanation to this. You know, ease your player into the game. Don't just info dump everything. Boom! Here you go, player. Have fun. Because honestly, most players won't have fun, and they'll walk away from your game. Okay. So that pretty much covers all of the functional aspects of the game. Next video will be the last one, and that's going to cover just sort of the finishing, polishing details. Getting the save load functions up and running, getting the main menu in, the you win screen, and just tidying up a few things. And so, until the next video.